Hey guys, welcome Muskie Roosevelt podcast and Patreon. Guys, I really appreciate it that you guys are following us here every week, and it's always a good time. I'm going to straighten my camera a little bit there. I always look better sideways, but I don't know. That'll annoy me with the writing behind me. Guys, thanks for coming on here tonight, and thanks for listening. Thank you for the members of the Patreon. Guys, you can always join the Patreon. Just go to patreon.com and become a member. It's $8 a month. This month, the lure giveaway, as I'll bring it up right here, you're going to see, is the sheephead. I actually think it's more of a bait fish, like a shad pattern, real shiny, glossy, 10-inch headlock from Supernatural Baits from Duff. This bait here, retails for about $100. So it for an $8 submission, you're going to be entered into the drawing with all the other Patreon members. And some lucky guy's going to win this month. Next month, we're going to give away one of the Bomb Squad top waters, one of the new double tail, double bladed flap tails that they're making. So we've got some really cool stuff coming down the pike. And then again, thank you for all the audio listeners there as well, on the on Spotify or Amazon or wherever you listen to your podcast. I really appreciate it. I just finished a live. I did one with Doug Wagner on his Next Gen Muskies 2 nights ago, actually, and it was a lot of fun. So I think I might try to do some live stuff on here. I know I've got the capabilities on this, and but I'm going to start fishing here soon too. So I'm trying to bank some podcasts so I can kind of get my season rolling and stuff. Going to start off in Kentucky, I think around early March for a few days, and then going to do some Ohio stuff. It'll be my first venture up there in that Salt Fork, Piedmont area. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hoping the weather is good and the conditions are well. I don't care as long as it's not flooded 15 feet. And super chocolate milk. If it's anything other than that, I think I'll be a happy guy. But got a new guy on the podcast tonight. I got Mr. Ron Ring from over in Missouri, and he's going to talk and tell us all about Missouri muskies. I've actually got to fish Missouri one time over at Pomme de Terre and had a really good time. Caught a lot of fish. Ron, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And you are the Pomme de Terre chapter Muskies Inc. president. So, and we talked a little bit before actually starting to record, and you've got quite the muskie history behind you. You've been doing it for a long time. Tell me kind of how you got into muskie fishing and what's your story getting into this thing?
Well, back in 1978, I was just a young kid. And my dad went down to Pomme de Terre and he caught his first muskie by accident. And he was like, I've got to do that for real. That was a lot of fun. And so 2 weeks later, he went back, got himself a 5500C Ambassador and went out, and that's what we used back then, and caught his first muskie for real on purpose. And from then on, it was like he was die hard. 1 week later, he took me and I caught the Missouri state record for my first fish.
Oh, well, that's a good way to start and quit. I would tell people just to stop then. How big was that?
It was 46.5 inches long, but it was 28.25 pounds.
No shit.
It was a monster fish. We did not have the right net for that fish. So when my dad went to net it, of course, it did not go in easily. So he literally just grabbed the fish and pulled it back in over our bodies and crashed to the floor of the boat. We had a small styrofoam cooler that we had put some lures in, got busted. I had 3 of them in me. Flopping around. And of course, in 78, that was off to the marina. And next thing I know, we're off to the only certified scale. And there it was, the state record.
Was it at the butcher shop or the
grocery store?
The grocery store. Yep.
Yeah.
I totally get that. But
after that, it's pretty evident that I was going to be a muskie fisherman for life. And so
I get it.
When I turned 16, I started renting my own boats, and I'd go down with friends, and we'd go out with no electronics or anything and just fish. And that's what we did.
I got to ask, Ron, what was that fish caught on? What'd you catch it on?
It was caught on the same Well, it's not probably the real world record, but it was on a creek chub pikey, an original perch-colored 5.5-inch creek chub pikey.
Just reeling it in, probably.
Reeled it in. Actually, I saw it follow my dad's lure, and I turned around and I cast it out the other side of the boat because I just got a glimpse of it, but I knew it was a big fish. And when it hit, I had a 7-foot Silstar rod, right, which was like a medium action. It wasn't anything to handle something like this. And of course, I thought I was snagged at first, and then all of a sudden I realized I wasn't, and it was quite exciting. But yeah,
that's amazing. Well, that's pretty cool. So at the time, so now you're a kid, you catch this big fish, and it gets you hooked into muskie fishing. Kind of, you're definitely older than 16 now, or 14 now. Kind of what's been your muskie fishing history from then to now, like, other trips and places that you fished?
Well, I spent a lot of years with just being at Pomme de Terre and fishing just Missouri lakes. Then, Dad decided he wanted to start going to Canada. So we ventured into Canada, Lake of the Woods, and then we started going to Lake of the Woods every year. And we went to Lake of the Woods every year for about 10 years. Then we started going with my uncle. I started going 2 weeks back and forth with him to Cedar Lake in Ontario, which then 20 years in a row, I spent 2 weeks at Cedar Lake.
Yep.
Since then, I've kind of started fishing Minnesota, Wisconsin. I started fishing the PMTT about 15 years ago, off and on. And so I fish Kentucky, I fish Cave, I fish Wisconsin lakes and fish Minnesota lakes. But my home is still Missouri. Yep. I mean, this is where I catch the majority of my fish by far. And it's really, really good right now. So
let's talk about that. I mean, you said 1978 is when your dad caught his first fish out of Pomme de Terre. How long have muskies been in the Missouri waters? And then do you know what got that started?
Well, it started in 1966 was our first stocking. So this will be our 60th year of having muskies stocked in Missouri lakes. And what happened is I think it was twofold. They wanted to have some type of a trophy fishery. Okay. Muskies Incorporated actually got to start in 1966 also. And so the International Muskies Incorporated. So I think it just sparked an interest in Missouri to maybe do something. And Pomme de Terre had a population of gizzard shad that was pretty huge. And so they thought, well, maybe this would be a good lake to try muskies in for not only the trophy end of it, but also maybe some control of the gizzard shad population. So that's how it kind of got started. 1973, the Pomme de Terre chapter was formed, which was the 5th chapter of MI. A lot of people don't realize that Missouri has been here for the long haul.
No, so, I had no idea that it had been in Muskies Inc. that long. Now, like Kentucky's kind of the same way in the fact that the Kentucky Silver Muskie Club is the second oldest club in the country, even older than Muskies Inc. It was started in the right around 1962. It was but I had no idea Pomme de Terre. Now, was Pomme de Terre, when was it built? When was it was it built or was it natural?
Oh, it was built. I'm not sure of the year it was built. I think it had been some years before that. I mean, it had been some years before that.
Okay.
But I'm not sure exactly when it was built.
And so it's a reservoir. So they thought the muskies would, with the population of shad and stuff, it would become they would do very well and flourish in that. Was it the first lake in Missouri that was stocked?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. There was the story is there was a truck with the first stocking of fish going to Pomme de Terre to stock like before 66. I don't remember exactly the year, maybe 63, 64. And it broke down on the angle arm of the Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
And they dumped those fish in the Lake of the Ozarks because they were just going to die.
Yeah.
Okay. Most people don't realize this, but the state record muskie, the current state record, came out of Lake of the Ozarks. And they tracked it down to where they believed it was from that original stocking of fish that was dumped into Lake of the Ozarks. It's kind of an amazing story because, the only other way for fish to get to Lake of the Ozarks, and they do, is through the dam at Pomme de Terre into Truman, and then through the Osage River into the dam again into the Osage River into Lake of the Ozarks. And there are muskies in Lake of the Ozarks, but very few, and not fishable population at all. But that's, it's just kind of a strange story that, the 42-pound muskie, 49.5-inch muskie, that's the state record currently, was caught out of Lake of the Ozarks.
Wow, that's a huge fish. Was that a pre-spawn fish, or when was that fish caught?
Yeah, I believe it was a pre-spawn fish. It was caught by a striper fisherman, I think, in March, if I'm right. I mean, so pretty interesting. So muskies in Missouri have, Pomme de Terre has always been a great muskie fishery. We back in the early days, we had weeds. And unfortunately, we don't have the weeds like we had back then. We had coontail beds of weeds that were huge, that were down in 20 feet of water, that would come up within 3 feet of the top of the water. And when I started in the early 80s and late 70s fishing for muskies as a kid, that's what we fished, was the weed beds. And it was awesome. Now the weeds are gone, okay? And we have, flooded timber. It's very, very close to cave run, cave run types.
I was going to ask you how similar. I mean, I was on Pomme de Terre, but it's been a long time ago. We caught fish there. I remember mainly trolling is how we caught fish, looking for bait fish schools and stuff like that. And how similar is it to cave run in your opinion?
Well, it's similar. I mean, it's a little clearer water, I believe. Okay. But here again, that's really unfair because I have not fished cave run year round. I've fished.
Yeah, cave run in the summer. I mean, you can see when, like in late May, early June, you can see 8-9 feet.
Right.
I mean, it's clear.
Right.
But when you're used to being another PMTT in April, I mean, it could be anywhere from, 4 inches to maybe 1.5 feet, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, oh, trust me, I know. But so, Pomme de Terre, when did they start? Because I know it's not the only lake in Missouri that has muskies in it. When did they start branching out to other bodies of water?
Well, basically in 1997, the Department of Conservation decided they wanted to do a species plan for just muskellunge. Up until that time, it was pretty much handled by individual biologists, okay, per lake. So there was a couple different lakes before 1997 that had muskies, but it really wasn't an effort that was developed with a leader with a plan until 1997. And what they did is they created the species plan that lasts 10 years. And we are currently now on our third 10-year plan. So nice. For the last 30 years, we've had a species plan. And the species plan is very in-depth, and that's when we branched out. Currently, the lakes that are stocked with muskies is, of course, Pomme de Terre, Hazel Creek Lake, which is a 530-acre lake. It's a trolling motor only lake. It's up in Kirksville, Missouri. Okay. Fellows Lake down by Springfield is about 860 acres lake, and it's 40 horsepower restriction. So, I mean, all these lakes outside of Pomme have got restrictions because they're smaller lakes. Mm-hmm. Henry Seaver is just south of Hazel Creek up in northern Missouri. And Henry Seaver's got about 160 acres or so. And then Bush 35 Wildlife Area, which is close to St. Louis. And it's actually a wildlife area, about 7,000 acres for hunting and fishing. And the lake on it is like 62 acres. And you have to rent a boat, or you can use kayak or canoe. So those are the 5 fisheries that are currently stocked with muskies.
Okay. And then, so when they're stocking, how many fish are they putting in, say, a big reservoir like Pomme de Terre versus one of those small reservoirs? Do you have any idea on those numbers?
Sure. I mean, basically at Hazel Creek, they've gone back and forth between 1 per acre and 1 for 2 acres. Okay. So they would go like, it's a 520, they go 520 fish to 250 fish, back and forth. They've been stocking 1 per acre in Fellows. And Fellows is a very unique fishery. There has been a 50-inch fish caught out of Fellows in the last 5 years. And then there was a 48 caught last year. They've got some bigger fish. They're all the same strain. We get our fish from Clearwater or Clear Lake up in Iowa. All right.
Okay. Yeah. I've
and
been there.
they're Wisconsin strain, okay, and that's what we've had for quite a few years. That's what we've been doing down here.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason in Fellows, I think I'm not positive on this, but there's a spring in the bottom of that lake that may keep the water temperature in the hottest parts of summer just a little cooler down in that 20-foot, 15-foot range.
Okay.
And I think that's why they may be doing just a little better there than some of the other lakes. The other lakes produce 45, 46-inch muskies. 27% of the muskies that were recorded to MI last year were over 40. So wow. 27%. So that's a good percent. All right. Mm-hmm. We have a 36-inch size limit, which we're desperately trying to get moved up to 40.
Sure.
But right now, 50%, over 50-some percent of the muskies were over 36 inches.
Nice.
So it's a very strong fishery right now. And the Missouri Department of Conservation, we have obviously been partners with them for years, mm-hmm. and they've done a very good job in keeping the lake going. But now we're running into, some restraints with fisheries on their budget. And hey, look, I own my own business and I get it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's rough. You have ups and downs. And so we're concerned about the program, but we believe that, we can continue a good partnership and they're going to take care of us. I mean,
that's how many. So like Pomme de Terre, how big is it? And then do you know the stocking numbers for there?
Sure. It's 7,800 acres. They like to put about 4,000 to 5,000 fish in that. Last year was the first deviation
That's great.
Yeah, I know. It's really good. And last year was the first year that they had to deviate from the plan due to these budgetary restraints. And so they ended up only putting in about 1,400 fish.
Okay.
And what they're doing for this year, because of the problems that, it's not really problems, but, there's some cost issues involved, is they're going to try to just use surplus fish from other fisheries and take their surplus and put them in. So we don't know. So it's kind of a double-edged sword because we really don't know what the stocking's going to be going forward. So it is deviating from a plan which they've had, the 10-year plan. Our 10-year plan was supposed to run out in 2027, and so it's being changed right now as we speak. And so we're kind of waiting to find the final numbers and see where we're headed for the future to see what we can do to maybe, help that out. I don't know.
Sure. So what, those fish that they're putting in, do you know, are they advanced fingerlings? What kind of size fish are they putting in there?
Oh yeah. They're like, they try to get 12 inchers. Somewhere between 10 and 13-inch fish.
All right. So they've got a good survival rate. Some of those can still get eaten by other fish and all that. And then just your mortality of just whatever. But no, you should have but 4,000 to 5,000 fish in a 7,800 acre lake. That's a lot of muskies.
It shows every year. You go down, very seldom do I fish Pomme and not have decent muskie experiences or catch a fish. It's a really good fishery. All the lakes in Missouri are doing really well right now. Probably the best fishing I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. I would put you right up there. I'd always said that Iowa and Ohio right now are probably the best fisheries that I know of. But as far as like stocking and putting fish in and stuff, but this Missouri stuff sounds really, really good. In Kentucky, we raise our own fish from the hatcheries, and we've had the last few years they had I don't understand it. For 40 years, everything was great. And then all of a sudden, in 5 years, things go haywire in the actual raising of the fish. So, but I think things are under control now. In the last 2 years, we've gotten a nice stocking, which I think's a really, it's definitely showing. I can tell already that, there's more fish being put in, and that's a huge deal. In stock fisheries, I fished enough in Minnesota and, Kentucky, other places, in that if you mess with the stocking, it really shows. You'll see it, down the line. You'll see this, whether it'll be, I don't see it happening for you guys by any means, but I've seen in fisheries where they're like, okay, we've established it. Now we'll let Mother Nature take its course. Well, Mother Nature doesn't. You see it dive.
I know all about that because there was a couple of years where we could not stock any because it just didn't work out. There was, it's not been perfect. There's been years we had lack of fish, And 3 to 4 years later, you see it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, absolutely. I'm with you on this because I've seen it. I mean, especially on Pomme, because Pomme is a large reservoir or a decent sized reservoir. So, I mean, when you don't stock those fish, if you don't stock them every year, you'll have years where you just don't see them. You don't catch them.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, and it's really tough. So, I mean, I agree that that's 100% right that happens. And anglers, it's funny because, we're, muskie anglers, we're crazy. So, I mean, we'll go out and do whatever it takes, but it's disheartening when you go from really good years down to where they're not so good. And then you have to wait for that to come back around again.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. And I, to me, everything is cyclical, and you get those ups and downs and those waves. And it's super frustrating when those, when you're on the bottom of one of those waves, it's like, oh boy, come on. And so it's one of those deals. Always remember the good times.
Yeah.
It can definitely change on you. Now your fishery there, can you kind of go through, there's no season. You said that you went fishing yesterday, correct?
Actually, it wasn't me, but a friend of mine and a buddy from up north went, and they lost one. They had 8, 9 follows. It was a really good day. Ice had only been off the water probably for the last 10 days. And so I think the water temperature was around 42 or something like that. Actually, it's been really warm down here. It's 76 degrees yesterday. But then today it's like 39. So,
yeah. Well, I'm looking at snow flurries and about, I don't know, we don't have a ton on the ground, but we've probably got 8, 9 inches on the ground. So that sounds wonderful to me right now. But the Northwest Angle, we're a long ways from open. We still got 38 inches of ice that we're drilling through. So that sounds wonderful. Well, let's look at some of these pictures that you sent me here. Sure. You sent me some nice shots here, and we'll start with this one. We got 4. This picture here, you got 4 pictures in this one. You said it's the same 2 guys in here.
Yeah, those guys are really great guys. They just got into muskie fishing last year. It's their first year. They're doing really well.
Looks like it.
I do some seminars at Bass Pro Shop in Independence, Missouri. I try to do 2 or 3 a year, and they came to my seminars last year for the first time. That's where I met them, and they went through all 3 seminars, and then they took off and started fishing on their own, and they're just doing great. And loving every minute of it. And they'd never muskie fished in their life. They were bass fishermen, and really good guys.
Yeah, it looks like
they're in a pontoon. So
yes, I mean, I see that.
I know, and so that just goes to show you, it doesn't matter what boat you have, you can fish. Yeah,
no, and it looks like they really like marinas because it looks like every picture is around a marina.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never even paid attention to that.
I'm a background guy. I always look at the backgrounds.
We have a lot of docks. I mean, there's also a lot of docks. It looks like the one, I doubt, in fact, none of those are actually a marina. That's a series of docks that are just off of one of the coves that have a lot of homes. And that's like a community dock, the one on the lower right side. Yeah.
But it looks, I mean, so on your lakes there, so these pictures here, do you guys see that summertime spike in temperature where you think the mortality rate goes up or anything?
Well, we stopped fishing for muskies when it hit 80. I mean, now I will tell you this, I'm not sure how the effect it has on Missouri fish versus northern fish. I'm not sure that it's near as detrimental because I think our fish become used to the higher temperatures over time. And I'm not a biologist, so I have no idea. So we just do it because that's the thing to do.
Yeah.
So usually we stop fishing sometime the 1st of June. Okay. And then we go up north.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, that's literally how my career was. I mean, that's what I did. And I've done it for, damn near 26 years this year. And yeah, I mean, it does get, I mean, I'm sure down there you see water temps like in Kentucky. We see them 87, 88 degrees sometimes.
Right. And usually we don't go back out on the water until sometimes the third week of August or the fourth week of August. We can get back on the water. It will get to where it's getting down to the 78, 79 degree temperature again. So we're kind of done for a period of time. Sometimes we make it through the middle of June. Just depends on what the weather's like.
Sure. No, and it's now, and I bet you, do you guys see like in that August, late August, early September time frame, if you get a bunch of rain, you get a big migration of fish to the creeks?
I'm not sure about that. I not necessarily. I mean, our main lake points and our main lake humps and our flats. That's really where the muskies like to stay and hang. Not necessarily down at the dam, but there's an area called Martin's Flats, which is a big area, and I would say a lot of the fish are caught there. But as far as up the rivers and up the creeks, I don't think a lot of guys go up that way to fish that much.
Well, I mean, do your rivers or creeks come in with pronounced channels? Like, the channel that runs into the creek. I mean, can you see it on your graph?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. I tell you, in Kentucky, I mean, and it's the most I don't know if consistent is the word, but when it happens, when you get a big rain in late summer, early fall, and it pushes water into the lake, and let's say your lake comes up a little bit. I don't know, Missouri, does it flood much? Do you get much?
Well, unfortunately, everything in Missouri is because of Lake the Ozarks. So otherwise, if they keep Lake the Ozarks perfect because it's the high dollar lake, and so anything that flows into Lake of the Ozarks is going to be controlled based on that. So yeah, we've had 20-foot high springs.
Those are fun.
Yeah,
those are wonderful.
and then we also have it could be down also because for the same reason they let out water to make sure that Lake the Ozarks stays good. And I'm good with that. I understand that. I don't have a problem with it. It's just what it is. Same thing with Truman Lake because we go into Truman and then Truman goes in Lake of the Ozarks. So it's not a big deal. But yeah, we have definitely two channels. Lindley Creek runs in, and then the Pomme River comes in. Those are the two main sources of water that comes through.
Yeah,
so I'm sure that happens.
If those fish, and even in the summertime, even though if the main lake is 86 degrees, I mean, I like on Cave Run, there's places where the main lake's 85 degrees. I can go up certain creeks if I wanted, and if I was there to fish, and even at 85 degree water in the main lake, I could find 74, 73 degree water at the heads of these creeks. Now, I'm telling you, you got to go up there. And sometimes it takes I mean, you're in deliverance country when you start getting that far. I mean, you go and you pass civilization. Civilization's quite a ways behind you. And there'll be fish up there. I mean, they will go up there. It's amazing. What I've learned is it's amazing how far some of these fish will travel to find that comfort and bait and water. And yeah, I guess I find it amazing how far they'll travel. To them, it's nothing. They're just swimming, right? So it makes me laugh at sometimes how these fish will go and in these reservoirs. But let's look at some more pictures here. Here's one. Looks like a little rainy day or a cloudy day. Looks like a perfect muskie day.
Yeah. That was a nice fish. I mean, that's a very, very healthy fish. For not. I mean, I think that fish was around 35 inches long. I think for sure. I wasn't with Andy the day he caught that, but he'd put. I'm thinking that's one of the fish that he put 4 in the boat within like a 2-hour period.
Oh wow!
It was an unbelievable day, and so yeah.
Is that do you know what time of year that is?
That was in fall.
That was a fall day. So you were saying earlier, you were talking about your weeds and stuff. Why did the weeds go away there? What happened to your weed growth?
Well, they were concerned about the weeds overtaking the lake. So they put some grass carp in the lake.
Ooh.
And I'm not sure on exactly what went right or wrong there. And I'm not sure that they really knew the complete aspects of what would happen. Okay. So otherwise, I don't blame the Department of Conservation for doing this, because it's like, they had legitimate concerns. There was a lot of weeds in the lake. And so they were just trying to control them. But unfortunately, I think it got out of hand. And then that's why we ended up losing the weeds. I've done a lot of projects with the Department of Conservation to fix that by doing big brush pile programs. We cut down tons of trees off of core land and drug them out on pontoons and have dropped them in the lake over and over and over throughout the years. I did a weed planting project where we went out to these ponds, and literally dug the weeds out, put them in biodegradable pots with bricks, took them out in the lake and dumped them in the lake. I mean, hundreds of these. We spent, several days doing this. So, and just the weeds would live for a while, but then they just would not make it. So the best thing we can do right now is continue with the brush pile and continue to add brush piles to the lake, because a lot of the natural trees, it's an old lake. A lot of the natural trees are dying and gone and deteriorating.
Sure. Yeah, they just eventually rot away. I mean, that's just part of it. That's interesting on the weed stuff. For us, it's always been based upon how bad the flood, how bad the high water and light penetration and stuff is, really dictate our weeds. And then also, if the, whether we have milfoil or milfoil, which was our constant weed that we didn't have weeds in Cave Run really until like 97, 98. And then they started, we had a pond weed. It was like a broadleaf type pond weed that was in there. And then it kind of went away and the milfoil got in. And we had there for many, many years, we had these beautiful, big, expansive milfoil beds. And, with the watercolor that we got, they would only grow down maybe, 12, 13 feet at the deepest. And do they lower Pomme de Terre in the winter? Do they lower your lakes?
No, I don't think they lower them. No, I mean, they will, like, it's down now, but I don't think it's a conscious decision made.
Yeah. See, on Cave Run, we lower 6 feet every winter. And it's to make up for our, spring rains. Hell, last year they could have dropped it 30 feet and we'd have been fine. But they drop us. And there is one lake in Kentucky that has muskies in it, Buckhorn. They drop 45 feet in the wintertime. And last year it went from down 45 to up 30 in over a week. So it came up 70 feet 1 week. That's good stuff. That really makes for some consistent fishing right there.
Right.
That's good stuff.
On the weeds in Pomme, this is things that have been told to me. So it's like, I don't have firsthand knowledge about some of this. And I'm not sure if there was other attributes that caused the problem with the weeds to die off or to go away besides just that. I mean, so I just want to preference that because, here again, I wasn't, I was around, but I wasn't really actively involved.
Totally get it. I understand that completely.
One of the biggest problems we have, and maybe Greg, you can help me out, is how do you prove numbers of fishermen? Okay, right? Because this is what, we're wanting to make sure that I go to a boat ramp at Hazel Creek Lake on a Wednesday, okay, in the middle of a work week. And there's literally 6 guys. There are 6 different boats, 3 different states. And this is us pulling in, okay, all muskie fishermen. Can't wait to get out to muskie fish, right? And it's like, I know for a fact there are a lot more muskie fishermen fishing just by going to the boat ramps and talking to guys than are perceived to be out there. And one of the things that we're trying to show is that the economic benefit of muskie fishing in Missouri is way bigger than what I think a lot of people think it is. And so that's one of the things I'm trying to do. And I don't know if there's an answer to that question or not, but I'm sure one of the things our club's going to try to do this year is to prove that. One of the things that I do is I have a little Facebook page that I started a couple of years ago called Missouri Muskie Fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I've already got 1,200 followers on that. So I mean, just with the 1,200 followers, I mean, it's a far. I mean, we had a little seminar after our sports show here in Kansas City and filled it with 40 anglers never musky fished in Missouri, wanting to learn how to musky fish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's, I mean, it's just, so we're working real hard to try to get that out and try to figure that out.
Sure. No, I mean, the big thing is with those license plates, and you're seeing those. I mean, telling people, look, I mean, we've got 3 states on a random Wednesday in whatever month or whatever that's coming to this lake. The seminar, it sounds like you're doing everything you can, and it's easy to prove the monetary benefit of musky fishing. Just tell them to look at a catalog and how much the shit costs.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's getting a hotel room and gas is the cheap part of the deal.
Absolutely.
And that's, and again, everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to stay somewhere. Everybody's got to buy gas. Everybody's got to buy snacks. And, it's definitely, it's definitely easy to prove in that way.
Well, most of these communities that these lakes are in are small.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not like the major cities. They're not like Kansas City. I mean, it's a small Kirksville area. So, I mean, when you have anglers coming into the hotels and eating there, I mean, it's a big economic value.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with like Hermitage, Missouri, which is a small area in Pittsburgh, Missouri, where Pomme de Terre is. Pomme de Terre Lake, I mean, that economic benefit is very important to them also.
No.
It's just these things that we're trying to kind of figure out to just show exactly what musky fishing means to Missouri.
Yeah, and you got to also show in the fact that that they'll be like, well, there's X number of bass tournaments or crappie or something like that. I go, that's fine, but look at what the people are paying that are coming, because with the bass tournaments, they're probably mostly locals. So the businesses and stuff aren't getting the money that they would from guys that are traveling there. That's the big thing, is that, look and see what's local versus what is bringing in, and the people that are coming in on vacation or coming down for a trip, they're letting money, they're already convinced that they're going to spend some. It's not like you're asking them to spend more. They already know that they're going to spend. And I think that's a big part of it.
Right. I agree.
And getting those, and that's getting those people to realize that that's, who comes down and, because at the end of the day, it's about who's spending the money, and is the money being put towards something they feel like they're getting some kind of reward back from.
Well, a bunch of us drive all the way to Milwaukee and coming up to Minnesota in a week or so, and to go to the shows, because there's no local dealers in Missouri that sell musky tackle. Really,
no.
There's not.
No, so, I get it.
So we mail order everything in. We buy off the internet, and we travel to the shows, because it's like, literally drive 8 hours, stay at the show 4 hours, and then drive home 8 hours. It's a long day.
Oh, I know. I see guys doing it. I understand.
So you work the show, so but there's a lot of musky guys from Missouri that drive up there, and
yeah, it's one of those deals that you stay, that guys are definitely out there spending money doing their thing. Who's this smiley guy here? This looks like an early fall picture. I'm thinking like early November.
I believe that's Chris Cabani. He helped work the sports show this year. Really nice fish. Really nice fish. Caught. I believe that is early fall.
Yeah, it reminds me of Cave Run or Green River Lake in that early November period, maybe mid-November. It's the trees. There's still a few leaves hanging around, and that's what that right there reminds me of. Is a nice period. Looks like, is the lake down just a little bit there?
Down. It's been down. It's been down pretty regularly for the last year. I mean, I don't know. We just haven't had the rain.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Now this guy looks like he's surprised he caught that one.
Yeah.
What's
Hey, we're always surprised when he catches a fish.
That's all right. That's all right.
Oh, no, he's one of my best friends.
Oh, okay.
So
Was
I
he
can
at
get
the
away.
show with you? Was he at the show with you?
Yeah, he was at the show with me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought he looked familiar.
he's a great guy. He's been muskie fishing for 1 year less than I have.
Oh, wow.
So we
Okay.
grew up together as kids, muskie fishing. Our dads were both big MI members.
Okay.
His dad was with my dad through all the years, and a lot of work by that man right there. Andy's done a lot of good things for Pomme de Terre chapter Muskies Incorporated, just following his dad's footprint. So
yeah, that looks like a hell of a fish right there.
That was a really nice fish right there. It was a mid 40 fish and really healthy. All the muskies in Missouri are always going to be fairly fat.
Yeah, you sent me this one here. One of you. That's a really nice fish. How big was that one?
That was 45, and that was a really heavy fish. That was caught. We have a little spring event in May, and that was caught in May last year. And yeah, that was the biggest fish I caught in Missouri last year. That's
what was that? What was that fish caught on? How did you get that one?
Well, I caught it on a Bagley DB04.
Oh, I used to, those used to be the Pewaukee Lake in southern Wisconsin. That was like the thing.
Oh,
and
man.
I was fishing there in a tournament. We didn't do any good, but I bought one. And then at Cave Run, it was one of the best baits I could find at the time. And this was many, many years ago, that would dig down in the weeds and you could pop it out really nice. And we ended up getting like a 48 and a 40, like really nice bait. DBO, I haven't seen those baits in forever.
You can't get them anywhere except antique places. And no kidding. Let me tell you, I found 5 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of funny deal. I love this bait. This is one of my favorite baits of all time.
Yeah.
Okay. And I found 5 of them. They were $120 to $150 a piece.
Jesus.
I know, dude. But hey, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So I bought them. So it's so funny because it's like I had like $500 in these 5 baits. They gave me a discount.
Yeah. Nice people.
$500 in 5 baits. And so every time I catch a fish on one of them, I'd say, okay, now I've only got $250 in them.
Yeah.
So I'm down to like $24 a piece now.
There you go.
I've caught so many muskies on those this last couple of years.
Nice. So how are you fishing them? Are you just fishing them through the timber or off the points, or what are you doing?
I fish them. You got to make contact with something. Mm-hmm. So it's like in the trees, in the stumps, in the rock. That seems to where it works the best. That one was caught off a point where it was actually, they'll run about 8 foot deep. Okay. If you really get a long cast and really get going, but that fish came out of probably less than 10 feet of water, but I was setting in 25 feet when I caught it. I started off throwing up there in 3 feet and just was grinding the gravel. And just as it stopped hitting the gravel is when that fish hit.
Yeah. So it
That's
just
normal.
broke off. Just like they should, right?
Exactly.
Just like they should. Now this fish here, you sent me a picture. It looks like it's off a dam or a riprap bank or some type, but this fish really looks like a Minnesota, like a leech lake, like something I would catch in one of the Minnesota lakes.
I agree. I didn't think about it at the time. I took that picture. That's my friend Wally, and that is the dam at Hazel Creek Lake.
Okay.
And we caught it off the dam, or there's a point right there close by too. It might have been off the point. But either way, yeah, you're right. It looks like.
Yeah, it looks like a fish that would come out of, Cass Lake, or a fish that would come out of, Miltona, West Battle, Detroit Lakes over there. I mean, it looks just like a Minnesota muskie. That's kind of why I had asked you, do you get Minnesota stocking? Because, that just totally looks like a Minnesota strain muskie.
It makes me want to talk to the department about that, because that's a really interesting question. I don't know the exact stocking progress that they've had at Hazel Creek going back, but that fish is not. That fish is around. I think it's like around 38, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, it looks under 40. I didn't
So I'm
know.
thinking that fish cannot be more than probably 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
No, it's a
Six
young
years old fish,
fish.
probably. So it's a young fish. So probably a 6-year-old fish. So I'm thinking, as far as I know, for 6 years, they've only put the Wisconsin strain in that lake. So I I don't know where that fish came from.
Something funny in the woodshed.
Something.
Yeah. And then here's the last one here. Here's a nice
Yeah.
fat fish. This looks like a spring post-spawn fish. Looks like there's some spawning scars towards the back there. Am I seeing that correctly?
Yeah. Let me ask you, do you see a lot of that in Kentucky?
We do. Yeah, depending on where we catch them. Okay. There's
Okay.
certain areas of the lake that you don't see it as much. But then there's some creeks and stuff that I fish connected to the lake that in April, May, we'll see some pretty beat up ones.
Yeah, Pomme de Terre, not so much, but Hazel Creek, we seem to see a lot more of that. And I think it may be just because the total density population of Hazel Creek is really good right now. There's quite a few muskies per acre, I think, in that lake. So
it could be that, and then like I said on Cave Run on the main body, if you're fishing the main body a lot and not a lot of those creeks, you'll not see a ton of the really scarred up stuff. Up in the creeks, you will see that pretty nasty, beat up looking, because and I'm a firm believer that some of the fish just don't spawn.
right.
Or they spawn at a weird time of year, at a different time as others. And maybe when I'm fishing those creeks, those fish are definitely just getting done with it, and the fish on the lake haven't started yet. I mean, maybe that's part of it. I honestly don't know.
Our best, Wally and I, we're good friends. Our best day fishing this year on Hazel Creek, we put 6 in 5 hours.
Wow.
We fished in a boat in 5 hours. It was just unbelievable. It's like, and that's not, I lost 3. Okay.
Jeez.
It was like one but the moon was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
The day was right. All those things just aligned. And It was, when that happens in Missouri, it can be so good.
Oh no, it can be
anywhere you're at though, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Anywhere there's good muskie population, it can be great. Kind of finishing up here, Ron, we've had a great conversation, and I really appreciate you coming on here. How could somebody, if they want to get involved with the Pomme de Terre chapter of Muskies Inc., how would they do that if they're listening, or if they're interested in coming down for a trip or trying to get to Missouri, find information about muskies? How would they go about doing that?
Well, the best way to go is just go to momuskies.org. It's MOMUSKIES muskies.org. That would be the best way to go. You can also go to the Missouri Muskie Fishing Facebook page. I post things on that quite often, and follow that. But if you just go to the website, we have our calendar events all planned out. We have a lot of open weekends where if you've never fished the lake before and you want to find out what it's like, just come to our open outing. Just show up at the boat ramp and we'll go out fishing. You can follow us around all day. We're that kind of a club where I'd much rather see you catch a fish than me. I've been very blessed.
Yep.
So if I can pass it on to other people, that's what I want to do. So just go to momuskies.org and check us out.
I like Mo Muskies. That's what I like. There used to be in Louisville, there was a guy that had a marketing company, and he had billboards, and it used to be the billboards. The name of his company was Mo Betta Marketing, and that's what it was, just Mo Betta, and it was and he forever you'd see these Mo Betta Marketing billboards in Louisville. And just you saying that all of a sudden made me think of those billboards. But I tell you what, Ron, this was a pleasure. I'm glad we got to talk some Missouri stuff. I had been there before. It is a really a cool place, and it sounds like you guys are doing a great job. You got a lot of fish, and it sounds like it's got a bright future. That's everything that you want. So I tell you what, Ron, I appreciate you coming on. And guys, again, make sure you check out those websites and Facebook pages. Also, if you're looking for baits, or if you're going to be in the area, we got the Minnesota Muskie Expo coming up next week, or this podcast is going to come out right before the Minnesota Muskie Expo, so make sure you slide up there. It's in a new location just south of the cities this year. Check out, you can always stop by Thorn Brothers. Check out, they've got a ton of stuff, been using their rods forever. You can also go to their website at thornbros.com. And if you're looking for a new rain suit or any kind of outdoor wear, Gill products. I've been using the Gill stuff now for about 3 years, and hell, it keeps me dry, and that's an accomplishment. So check out Gill products. But Ron, just hold on for me for just a second, okay?